meeting y'all here. Hello. Is this thing on? If it's high name or volume, I'd like to listen loud. I am loud and proud. Get it. Hello. So that didn't work. Anytime you would like to come in, feel free to do so. I don't know. We thought we had something cute, but you know how YouTube goes. You ready for bad karaoke? Please. Let's all sing along. Sing with us. Go ahead. Yes. I know it sounds sordid, but you'll be rewarded when at last I am given my due. And injustice deliciously squared. Be prepared. Everybody laugh. I don't know why, but the bad guy laughs at every damn song. At the end of every song, Captain Hook's done stabbing somebody. You know, this group's pride though. They may be careful. Yes, that's job from you. Okay, that's good. Okay, don't more sing. Don't sing it too well. Yeah. we don't need that grief. All right. Well, thank you for being here with us. It's very good. I'm proud to be here. And don't let me leave without forcing you or my wife to make a fabulous special announcement. Ooh, I think she's avoiding me. She's hiding. We're gonna stay tuned for that. Yeah, stay tuned. And that's TOONED. Get it? Oh God, I laughed till I stopped. Okay. So this is a Q&A, guys, which means you get to ask questions. And A. Now, if you guys have the Q's, you get to be the A. I'll be the A. And if I don't know the answer, I'll make something up. And you'll be none the wiser. This microphone is for you guys. Feel free to get up at any point. Come over here to the microphone. We'll get through as many questions as we can in the short time we have to do this. So by all means, and if you have like a mobility issue or if that's like way too intimidating, just flag me down and I will come to you with the microphone. Cool? Yes. Here they come. All right. Because we have a limited time, let's jump right to the floor.
Yes. My name is Damien.
Damien, and what is your question?
I'd like to know, like, with all the characters you played characters from Looney Tunes to, like, Winnie the Pooh and stuff, and even GTA and Star Wars. What's your favorite, like, style of character? Not technically, like, character, but style of character to play, like, jovial or, like, more serious, or what's your favorite type?
Oh, gosh. Well, definitely not a pantomime. It's just not the same. I don't know. I kind of like the guys with a sense of humor, you know, that don't take themselves too seriously, and because that's me. So yeah, it's closest to home. So thank you very much for the wonderful question.
Thank you.
It's all for you, Dana. All right. Oh, here we go. Hello. You can use my microphone. What's your name?
Holly,
Holly, what's your question?
out of the voices that you did, what was your favorite?
Well, you know, people ask me that a lot, and I don't think I have one, but I have a few of them. Should I tell you? Well, there's one that I play that's a bear. Can you think of who it is? Well, his name is Winnie the Pooh. And then there's one that's a killer, and he loves the Bronx. And I am the terror that flaps in the night. Don't wake up. And let's see. Well, did you ever hear of Star Wars? Oh, good. Me too. I'm a sort of almost bad guy, but he's kind of a happy pirate named Hondo. Hondo Unaka. And let's see. Did you see a movie called Princess and the Frog? Say yes anyway. Oh, good. You did. And well, I was right. And oh my God, there's a very good. You know the women, they love a man with a big back porch. Oh, you know that's right. Thank you very much for asking. Good question, thank you.
Now, Hondo's had some legs. That wasn't just a one-off character. He's featured in the theme parks, video games, movies, all that stuff.
I'd ask a better question, but I'm gonna ask it.
That's all
How
right.
many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?
What was that again? I'm sorry.
How many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?
Yes.
I saw a YouTube short about it, like with you and the voice of Goofy. So I just decided to ask it because I didn't have anything better to ask.
That's a perfect
I didn't have anything better to answer, so. Perfect.
Yeah.
You guys should,
We should work together
a little
more.
vaudeville act, yeah, take it on the road.
You betcha. Thanks, pal. Hello.
My name's John.
Well, someone's having a good hair day.
Yeah, it's a part of a Ice King cosplay.
Okay.
Friends with it. But what was it like working on OKKO as Boxman, and how did you differentiate it from Robotnik? Like what did you do to?
Well, he looked different and sounded different and had different words to say and was on a different cartoon show. But other than that, they were identical. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. That was a great show. I thought it was underrated. I'm glad you liked it. I assume you liked it.
Yeah, I really like it.
Oh, good. Send some letters. Maybe we'll start doing some more. I'm here, brother. Okay, thank you very much.
Good question. Hi. Hello, what is your name? You pull it down towards you there, Thomas. Like a pro. Look at that.
Yeah.
Perfect. What's your question, bud?
My question is whenever you did Winnie the Pooh, you were doing multiple characters at once because the characters were talking one after another. Was that more fun for you or was that more difficult?
That's a pretty good question. Well, you know, I used to do them back and forth. You know, like Pooh talking to Tigger, talking to Pooh, talking to Tigger. And then every now and then, Tigger would start off like, instead of saying, "Well, now it's time for me to go bouncing," he would say, "Well, it's time for me to go bouncing." And wait, let me do that again. Because it sounded like Pooh leaked into Tigger, which doesn't sound like fun. So I would do all the Pooh lines first, and then we just started and then do all the Tiggers. And that way they kind of kept them separate. You know? It's more better. That's a good question. Good Thank you.
Thank you.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 5th grade currently.
Oh, good. I highly recommend doing 6th next year. Good man. Keep up the good work, brother. Thank you. You bet. Hello.
Yeah, perfect.
Hi there.
My name is Caleb. So one question I've always wanted to ask you this is, how is it like going from portraying Darkwing Duck and then going to portraying Mega Duck, a very different character, especially when we saw in the DuckTales reboot, where effectively you started out as a character being Darkwing Duck and then transitioning to a negative version of him. Was it very similar or different, or how did that work?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I thought that was I still have trouble following the plot line of that show. And I go, okay, now what am I doing now? You know, but it was interesting. You know, it was nice that they kind of brought it back. And, you know, I'm always happy when somebody, you know, appreciates the work. And it's interesting too because Disney Plus has all those shows on. So one cool thing is that like 6-year-old kids are coming up and I am the terror that flaps in the night. You know, and I go, how did you know that? Oh, Disney Plus. You know, because it was made like, I don't know, 30 years before you were born. So how was it? It's great. I'm glad he's still there. You know? Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Hello, what is your name?
Hi. I'm Jesse, of course. I have a question, of course.
Sure.
Which character was the most hardest to voice, of course?
The hardest one?
Yeah.
Oh, it would be Taz. Yeah, because, you know, I when we were doing Taz, we did 65 shows, a lot of shows. And it's interesting too, because there were only, I think, less than 5 cartoons from back in the day, you know, the 40s, not 40s, maybe 60s, you know. There were, people think, you know, because he was in this cartoon, that cartoon, back with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Well, he wasn't in that many shows. He was just sort of an ancillary character, secondary character, and then we did Tasmania, and we did 65 shows, and now all of a sudden everybody knows about it. So, but the thing, like I say, I would go all week, and then I said, well, we have to do Taz on Friday afternoon, because that way I had
A weekend to
the
recover.
weekend to recover.
That's why he was only in 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah, and Because, you know, you can only go so much. And then turn around and do Winnie the Pooh, because he's like Pooh with the anti-Pooh, right? so there you go. But thank you, pal. Appreciate your question. Hi, come on.
Hi, my name's Karina. Just thank you for being here. You know, my whole life has been surrounded by your characters, so that's amazing. But my
I'm
question.
sorry. Can anybody see those characters? Are they in the room with us?
Right. Since you've voiced and done so many iconic characters, is your voice insured?
Ooh, for $15 million. I can't wait to get laryngitis and cash in. No, it's an odd thing. I looked into that years ago, I think, with Lloyd's of London. And, you know, for my whole life, I mean, even I was in plays and I was this and that, but I started off, I was basically a singer. I mean, like in high school, I was in a band and we did rather well. So I know how to take care of my voice. Yeah.
What's kind of your routine to?
Well, I never yell unless they pay me a lot of money. No, just kidding. No, I'm not. But you know, it's an instrument. It's an instrument. You have to take care of it. You know, salt water, gargling with salt water is your friend, a little peroxide in there. It's, like I say, it's an instrument. You got to take care of it. So I do. How am I doing? Okay. Thanks. Hi, who are you cosplaying?
I'm cosplaying Princess Mononoke from the Studio Ghibli movie.
I thought I recognized you.
My name is Eva. It's very nice to meet you. My question was, what was a character you never got to voice but you always thought would be interesting too?
A character I never got to voice.
But you thought it would be interesting too.
Oh, Pocahontas. I made that up. You know, I really, I've never had one. I guess I've either been lucky or something. You know, because otherwise it would turn into envy. And that's 7 Deadly Sins. One of my favorites. There are a few others, there are a few other Deadly Sins. No, but I'm fairly satisfied. You know, I'll take these meager few that I have. But it's a good question.
I'm also an artist, and every time I meet a voice actor, I try to give them a sketch of a character I enjoy. So.
Oh, okay. Would you by any chance have one? See, I'm psychic, I told you. Oh, that's great. Look at that. This is the worst Tasmanian devil I've ever seen. But it's a great poo. Thank you, stay sweetness, honey. Nice job, thank you very much. Hi, welcome back.
I was wondering, when you played Hondo and Nako, what was your favorite Star Wars character to work against? Me personally, mine was Ezra. For you to do
to work with?
Yeah. Like, what was your favorite Star Wars character to work with, like, when you were playing?
Oh, gosh. Well, certainly Ezra and Obi-Wan. And, yeah, you know, I had a great time. We had a really good time doing that. And, well, just briefly, when I did Hondo, I would always, you know, you always do 2 or 3 takes, you know, because you do. And I would always do the first take as written. And then, and I always enjoyed working with Steve Bloom, you know, because he was easy to make laugh. And so, one of my little hobbies, if you will, is doing it as written, you know, for the first take. Then the second take, I would make something up and see how many people I could crack up in the studio and screw up the take. So, it was kind of fun. But thanks, I think that was a good question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, come on up. Who has the question? Hey, I remember her. She's that little sweetie.
So every Christmas we play Mickey's Once Upon a Time over and over again.
What's that?
Every Christmas we play Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas over and over again.
Oh, good.
So when you play characters like Pete over and over in many iterations, do you find that any of them tend to stick out, or do they all kind of just conglomerate into this character that is built on each other?
Referencing Pete?
Yeah.
Well, he's always going to be. I can't really say he's the bad guy, because back in the day he was quite a bad guy. I mean, when he first came out, and a lot of people don't know, but he is, I'm pretty sure he tied for first place as the oldest Disney character because he was in Steamboat Willie, and that was way 1929. I was just a kid, and so it's a very it's kind of an honor, you know, to do Pete. And I can't remember. Did I answer that question?
I think so.
I'm not 100% sure.
Where did Pete pick up V in Mickey the Mouse? How did that come about?
Oh, you know, that's funny. Like I say, I ad-libbed a lot, and all of a sudden, I've heard other people when I was like, well, you know, it's like I was telling my buddy, Mickey the Mouse. I says to him, Mick, you know, and he would go on, and bit by bit, it kind of worked its way into the ether, to the lexicon. And now it's funny to hear Bill Farmer, well, I was saying to my pal, Mickey the Mouse, and I went, wait a minute, what did you just say? I said, you owe me $5. So, yeah, I'm glad it worked its way in. Feel free to call him Mickey the Mouse.
Good question.
You can call me Mickey the Cat.
Hi.
Oh, thank you.
Hello. Don't forget to grow up and live happily ever after. That's right.
Hello there.
Hi.
Were you under arrest? Oh, no, are you robbing us? No, just kidding.
What's your name?
My name's Kat.
Hi, Kat.
My question is, I know someone asked earlier if you had a favorite character that you worked on. On a sort of related note, have you had a favorite project? Not necessarily one that involves that character, but just that you've worked on. I mean, you have so many credits.
Favorite project that you worked on?
Well, there's some new Hondo coming out, right? I mean, you gotta love Hondo. Say you love Hondo. Okay, good. Just checking. No, but it's entirely possible that Darkwing Duck will be staging a comeback. So yeah, well, there's W called DW, and so yeah, I'm always gratified because you know you do your best job and you hope for the best, and it's really kind of cool for Darkwing because he's been gone for so long, but it doesn't feel like it because of the reruns and everything. And Hondo, I'm very, very proud of Hondo because, you know, it's like I say, I kind of make up half the lines. And he was just a character that was in 2 or 3 Rebels and Clone Wars. And, you know, we did him, and I was up for a couple of Emmys for a few years in a row there. And George Lucas, you may have heard of him. Anyway, he kind of latched onto him, and he liked him, and he sent me a letter and everything. It was really cool. And as a result, they said, you know what? Everybody likes this guy. Gotta give everybody what they want. And I'm glad they want Hondo. You want Hondo, right? Say yes. Okay, good. Good answer.
Good question, Kat. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. I bet you have a question for us.
First question, what's your favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert?
Gosh, I go back and forth. Pecan pie's up there, Boston cream pie's up there, something with chocolate, and yeah.
Good choice. Another question. Since you've been in a lot of Disney movies, did you also grow up watching Disney movies?
I sure did.
What
I
was
sure
your
did. One of the earliest pictures of me was I was maybe 3, and Mickey Mouse Club, the original Mickey Mouse Club was on, and my mom sent away to wherever you sent away for in those days, and got me a Mickey Mouse T-shirt, and they took me over to Sears Roebuck and plopped me up there where everybody, that's where you went. You just went to Sears Roebuck and had caramel corn. And they took a picture of me, and somebody surprised me at a con I did years ago, and there was this big 10 by 10 foot picture of me as a 3-year-old. You know, proud as I could be wearing my Mickey Mouse Club shirt. So I've been a Mouseketeer for a long time. How about you?
Favorite Disney movies?
Yes.
Yeah, probably Lion King or Aladdin.
Oh, yeah? Oh, those are good choices. Because, you know, I was in a... What about Princess and the Frog?
That's a good one too.
Good answer, okay.
Thank you.
And don't forget the next one.
Next one.
I don't,
It's always the next one.
There's a chance I'll be in it, so stay tuned.
All right, make sure it's in. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, bro. Hey,
Hi.
what is your name?
My name is Susanna.
Hi, Susanna.
First off, I love your work and also your TikTok. I was very excited to find your TikTok one day.
Oh, good.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
well, don't forget to like and subscribe. Do it when you can. With Jim Cummings, you'll feel the difference. Wait, that's the wrong commercial, isn't it?
But I really appreciate your influence on my life. I heard your voice everywhere. Well, I enjoyed it. Winnie the Pooh was my, comfort characters movie that I had on repeat as a kid. That was like my thing.
Which one was?
Winnie the Pooh.
And rightly so. Okay.
And then of course you made me cry, Princess and the Frog.
Oh, yeah.
But in a good way. Good love, right?
In a good way, yeah.
Yes. Well, in a sad way, but in a good way.
Well, that's true.
But I wanted to ask about who influenced you across your career and like how you kind of got your start and like tell your story. I've heard the stories about the characters.
Well, yeah, I was a Paul Winchell fan when I was a little boy. He had a TV show, and it was so cool. And I used to be fascinated with ventriloquists. I think everybody was at one point in life. And Paul, he was a good buddy of mine, as it turned out. He was original Tigger and Gargamel from Smurfs, and yeah, he was something else. And I just got a kick out of he was one of the big influences, that's for sure. And I remember we were getting on an elevator once, and he was playing around, and there were some little kids on the elevator, and he, being a ventriloquist, I can't duplicate it with a gun to my head, but he would be sitting there and he would say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he'd look around like this, and he'd go, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then he would do it with his hand, and the kid would go, and he would look up at him, his hand is talking to him. and I was just crazy about it, so it got under my skin, and kind of, he was an inspiration. Him and Paul Frees, Beware, we're hitchhiking strangers. That guy, yeah, exactly.
Definitely a thing. I've listened to those like the cut recordings and everything. Sometimes they get on YouTube, and I'm like, I really.
But influence, I guess Mel Blanc's got to be in there, right? Yeah, the great Mel Blanc. And I never had a chance to meet him, but although we both worked at Hanna-Barbera at the same time. He was much older, and he was kind of winding down, God bless him. But I can tell you this story that when I made my very, very, very first demo tape in the mid-'80s, and a buddy of mine had an office, and he would book like ventriloquist acts and stuff. And Mel had an office next to him, and he was and I just made my first demo tape, very first. And demo tape's the one you make to send to an agent, and they'll send it around and see if anybody thinks you are worthy of anything. And so I just made it, and it was on a cassette. And he goes, "Hey, Mel, you got a second?" And he goes, "Yeah, I got a kid here that wants to beat you." And he goes, "They all do, pal." And so he said, "You want to hear his tape?" He goes, "Yeah." Is it long? He goes, "No, it's about 2 minutes." So he described it to me because I wasn't there. And he hit play. And he says, Mel stood there, and he closed his eyes so he wouldn't be distracted. And then a big smile. And he goes, "Tell the kid who's got it." And I went, "Yeah!" So it kind of makes me a little gooey, but it was kind of nice. I'd never met him, but I'll settle for that, you know what I mean? There you go.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the stories.
Oh, same to you. Thanks.
And you can find more stories on the podcast. What is the name of that podcast? Is it Talking Tunes?
No.
Is it Tuned In? I'm thinking. I have Rob in my head for some reason.
I've never heard of anyone named Rob.
Yeah,
But okay, no. Tuned In with Jim Cummings. There you go. Yeah. TikTok and what else, Marty?
Are we allowed to TikTok anymore?
What's that? Oh yeah, we just did that one too, yeah. Podcast, by the way, check it out, yeah. It's a good one. Hi, come on down, sweetie.
Let me come to you with a microphone, okay? Hi. Hello, welcome back. What's your question?
What made you want to do voices?
I didn't have a choice. I was, you know, I knew I wanted to do it. Like honestly, since I think I've said this, but when I was 5, I was sitting with my dad, Mel Blanc, who was Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner and Taz. He was on TV, and my dad goes, "You see this guy? He's the one that does all those voices and all that stuff, you know, that you watch on Saturday morning." And then Mel Blanc came up and he was going, see, and he did a bit on a show called the Jack Benny program. And I thought, well, he doesn't have to stand in the corner for being weird. I'll be him when I grow up. So I did. And I was 5. So it helps to get that goal going early, I can tell you that, you know. Eliminates guesswork.
Good question, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Stefano, what's your name?
My name's Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
I love that you sung "Be Prepared" earlier because that's my favorite song from the Lion King movie.
Mine too.
Right? Obviously, Scar is voiced by Jeremy Irons. When you were singing, you know, "Be Prepared," did you have like a process that you went through to emulate the voice of Jeremy Irons? And if so, you know, like how did you go about emulating it?
No, you know, people ask me that a lot, and I actually don't really think about it too much because if I can hear it in my head, I can try and duplicate it. You know that there's. I wish I had a really interesting answer for that, but I don't. And you know, just being a singer and then being a bit of an impressionist too. You know, you just put it together, and I was. You know, I was Jess Arnell. You know Jess, the great Jess Arnell, wonderful guy, great friend of mine. He and I, Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella, they aren't singers, but they were Pumbaa and Timon and Pumbaa. And so they said, well, let's get Jim and Jess into the studio, and they can sing Hakuna Matata, and that way they can put it on a cassette and they can drive around in their car for a month. And then you know it the same way you do Happy Birthday, you know, because it's just in your head. And so they had us do that, and then at the end of it, Sir Tim Rice and the other producer said, you know, while you're here, would you mind taking a stab at this song that we have that Elton John wrote for called "Be Prepared" for Jeremy Irons, and you know, he's an incredible actor, but he's not known as a singer particularly. So I said, sure. So I kind of sat down and kind of learned it and went through it and laid down a few tracks, and it was easy for him to just kind of to segue into it, and they kind of did that. And a quick story is Jeffrey Katzenberg was back at Disney then, and they had said to him, well, you know, Jeremy doesn't really sing, you know, how are we going to do that, you know? And so they said, well, we got "Be Prepared" done. Would you like to hear it? And so he listened to it, and he goes, oh, that's great. I thought you guys were worried. He sounds fine. What's the problem with that? And he goes, it's Jim. He goes, play that again. And I still made the cut, so throw it again. Good question.
Well, yeah, I absolutely love it. I thought you did an excellent job.
Thank you. I thought I did too. Did you see that? Thank you, pal.
Did you see that he sang that at the Hollywood Bowl not too long ago?
Yes.
What did you think about that?
I thought he sang it at the Hollywood Bowl.
I don't know.
He sang great.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, and he looked great too.
Yeah, well, there's somebody who did it better.
I didn't say a word. I thought it was wonderful.
Howdy. So you mentioned that when you were young, you figured out pretty early that you wanted to go into voice acting. Were you doing that without the goal? Were you just like making up voices that you wanted to emulate and sing to your friends?
Sure. Yeah, well, you know, you do some that you know, you're listening to cartoons, and I would do those, you know, as best I could and everything. And then one trick that I've told people is if you do a bad impression of somebody, I'll give you my secrets of the trade here. If you do a really bad impression of somebody really famous that everybody knows, they don't even know who you're doing. You have a new character. And if you do a perfect impression of somebody famous that everybody knows, that's cool. You never know, because you could end up using it. And if, like I've always said, my God rest her soul, my Aunt Grace and my Uncle Sam were in a lot of cartoons. And my Aunt Grace, this is a terrible thing, but she really did sound like this. There was a character in Bonkers. And who was the guy that, I'll tell you what, this is crazy. You know, and it was my Aunt Grace. That's how she sounded.
Uncle Sam, he would always come in and he would be like a dragon or a troll that lived under the bridge.
And so it was kind of cool. And I would call up my cousins and I go, hey, listen, your dad's going to be on Tailspin tonight. If you want to, you know. So it's kind of cool. You know, that's a little trick to the trade there. Cool.
Thank you. Thank you. We will get through this line of questioning before we have to wrap up. So come on up. What's your name? You can tip that down if you'd like. Yeah, perfect. You got it. Like a pro.
I'm Grace.
Hi, Grace.
First grade. You said earlier that you thought it would be interesting to voice Pocahontas. Why?
Because Irene's a close personal friend of mine, and I want to put her out of work. No, I was kidding, darling. I couldn't do it. But I'm pretty good at playing her dad. Does that count?
Yeah.
As the river cuts his path. I played Paladin. I'm just kidding with you. And the third one. Yeah.
Another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's your favorite movie that you've ever voiced in?
Casablanca. No. Gosh, I really like Princess and the Frog, and Lion King was great, and Aladdin. You know, and Winnie the Pooh, the one that was named Winnie the Pooh. You know, I almost can't really say it because I just kind of like them all in a good way. The first one I ever did was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I was 12. No, I'm kidding. But I was bullet number 2. And I was a weasel. I was this big weasel all over the thing, and they cut the whole darn thing. But I'm still bullet number 2, so I made the cut. And my name, if you read the credits, please do, is right above Frank Sinatra's. So I joke that I had top belly. Good name, good job. Hello, what is your name? Yeah, tip that up. Hey, yeah.
Hi, my name is Liz. I was wondering, have you ever had to do any kind of research for voices, like Ray from Princess and the Frog's accent or anything like that?
Well, you kind of lived Ray's accent.
For Ray?
Or just any character, but that was one I thought of.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, no, when I was a kid, I was a deckhand. I probably told this before. Out of New Orleans, I was a deckhand on a riverboat. And there were a couple of boats in which everybody was born in Louisiana, in the States, but English was their second language. Cajun French was their first language. And I mean, he's kind of a cross between a few people that I met back then. And like Leatherhead from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he's a Cajun too. And he is he is a dead-on impression of Léonce Leblanc. He was from Napoleonville down there in Louisiana. And in fact, I often wondered if his kids or grandkids heard him. Come on, hey Grandpa, you know this guy? Because it was a dead-on impression. But that's where I got it from. Being a decade out on the river. Yeah, somebody has to do it. Thanks, awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, we got 3 left. Come on up. What is your name?
Adrian.
Adrian, what is your question?
For when you did Darkwing Duck and Negaduck, those are my favorite of yours. When you were doing, did you have like an idea of what you wanted? Did you have a thought process or a method for getting those voices? Or are you just like, I will make duck noise?
Well, Negaduck is really the same voice as Darkwing, but you know, Darkwing is up here, the terror that flaps in the night, and Negaduck is down here, the terror that flaps in the night. My pin feathers, you know. So I thought it would be fun to just kind of make them reminiscent, because they are. You know, they're kind of like Pooh and the Anti-Pooh, or you know, Darkwing and the Anti-Darkwing. So I just made them sound like that, because they look pretty much alike, except that I think Negaduck has black irises.
That's because he's evil.
Or yeah, he's evil. He's a bad guy. Sorry.
So then how'd you come up with Darkwing?
You know, the way I do it is I'll look at the character, and then I'll, you know, if he's a little bitty guy, sometimes it's good to give him a big old voice. And sometimes, you know, you just kind of imagine him talking, really. And what would it sound like when he talks? And, you know, I've got a really huge imagination, so it works out well. You know, and you just, you know, spit it out there, and then you kind of mold it. You know, I always say Tad Stones is his dad, and the author, and then Jenny McSwain, the voice director, was his mom. So we kind of got into this session. You know, they have a round of auditions, and then a callback, then a callback. Then there's 2 or 3 people that are up for it, and they come in, they work with them, and then you just kind of take it from there. And they'll kind of guide you through a little more of this, a little more of that. And you know, and Darkwing ends up being very sarcastic and everything with his sense of humor. So that worked for me. And kind of a molding process.
I'm sorry, don't mean to cut you off, but yeah, we need to get through the last couple. Thank you though. Hey, hi, what is your name?
I'm Haley.
Hi, Haley.
It's an honor, by the way.
Oh, I love your comment, by the way.
You know, these characters have been so impactful for so many little kids, and little kids that have grown up a little bit, now have little kids of their own.
Yeah.
So, did you ever anticipate at any point that these characters would have that long-lasting impact?
No. You know, you go to a job, and I was just so grateful. I remember the first thing I did was Dumbo's Circus, and it's not even on. It was on Disney Channel way back in '85, maybe '86, and I was Lionel the Lion, and it was people in costumes back then, Dumbo. And I was Lionel. I was his sidekick. I played Timothy the Mouse basically, but it was people in costumes, and you can't have, even though it was, you know, little people. You know, you can't have a 4-foot mouse. It's kind of a big mouse. So they made him a lion, and yeah, that was my first. I think, was that the question? I hope it was. But yeah, then that was my first job, and I kept going from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question. Hi.
Oh,
Look at
right.
me, our last question.
Here we go.
Yeah. Do you have any plans to do any other cartoons or movies in the future?
Sure. What he can't do is tell you what they are. There's a little red dot that shows up on his forehead.
Actually, there's 3 of them. They're in the shape of a mouse's.
Welcome to the Disney Vault.
That's really exciting. But thank you for asking. Stay tuned. And speaking of staying tuned,
that sounds like a great name for a podcast.
yeah, well, or tuned in with Jim Cummings. Did I mention it? Am I forgetting anything? What am I forgetting?
YouTube. We should check out
YouTube.
YouTube.
Okay, good. I'm just saying,
That is
the
the best part of everything. That's the best part of it. Yeah, you can get your podcast wherever you get your podcast.
Yes.
But go to the YouTube channel and like and subscribe, because then you get to actually see it. And the episode we did with Jess still cracks me up.
Oh, good.
The Wingman, the Winnie the Pooh Wingman.
Oh, sure, yeah. And with Ron Perlman, the great Ron Perlman, who is also here. He's also one of my partners in crime. But thank you so very much.
Have you guys had a good time this last hour? Thank you. Before you guys leave, we have the request of all of you would like to get a photo with you for the convention social media. If you guys just want to fill in the empty space